everybody, this is Gregorio from DIY Tokyo, and today I'm going to do a simple costume that anybody can do, and it requires the minimum amount of tools. You can do it by hand or you can use a sewing machine, but today we're gonna make an awesome, simple Totoro costume that you can use for a Halloween party or some other type of costume party, but it's something that you can use, and after you've already made it, after it's done, the party's over, you can take it off and reuse it as is, so you're not going to be wasting any clothes here. So I'm going to show you what you need in order to make this cute Totoro outfit here. So you're going to have your ears along with the leaf that Totoro has, and Totoro's nice fuzzy belly, and some pants along with a little tail that you can do, and you can do it all in less than a day. And depending on the materials, other than the sweatshirt and sweatpants, the materials cost in total less than $10 or 1,000 yen. So get ready and let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so now for the materials. The basic things you're going to need are going to be a pair of gray sweatpants and matching gray sweatshirt. So of course it's going to be the body of Totoro. Next, we're going to need some white felt, which this is going to be used for the stomach area. And also, along with the white felt, we're going to add this gray felt to have the little moon patterns that appear on his stomach, as well as the ears and for the tail. Now it's optional that you can also use some green felt to make the leaf that Totoro has on his head when he's introduced during the rain scene at the bus stop. So that's what's going to be used for there. And to make the leaf and the ears, we're going to need some craft wire and some cutting pliers in order to cut and shape the ears and the part for the leaf. Along with that, you're going to need some more basic items such as fabric scissors, measuring tape, and fabric marker. And don't forget, you always need pins. Now another option that you can use, it's not needed, but if you have a shoelace or a thick piece of string, it'll help in making the radius for the stomach piece. So if you want to have more of a perfect circle, you can use this, or you can do it by freehand. This is optional. Now also, for the parts that appear on his stomach, the little kind of half moon shapes, you can try to sew them. I would suggest hand sew them, or to have it go faster by using a glue gun. I actually picked up this glue gun from the 100 yen shop. Even though it's a 100 yen shop, it costs 200 yen. And the glue sticks, which were only 100 yen. So again, this is optional. Okay, so if you look at the typical Totoro drawing, it's got a big round circle for its body, and there's no neck. It's just his head and body is one big round ball. But of course, as a human form, we can't have that. So what we're gonna do is on the sweatshirt part, we're gonna have a round circle that's gonna come up to around the chest area, and it's gonna end right at the bottom of the belly area. So of course, everybody's measurements are going to be different. So what we have to do is take your sweatshirt, place it on you, and figure where the bottom of the belly area will be, and kind of the side area. You don't want it to go all the way out here, because then that ruins the actual circle part, because it's getting cut off. So what you're going to want to do is take your fabric marker, you kind of find that center area here, and put a couple dots here and here, and around where your chest area is going to be. So not too high and not too low. So just about mid-chest, and put a marking here. And after that, lay it flat and measure how far apart the dots that you placed were with your ruler or measuring tape. So what I measured right now is about 40 centimeters by 45 centimeters. So 40 centimeters wide and 45 centimeters high. So of course it's all going to vary depending on the size of you and the type of circular pattern you're going to make. From that point, you're going to want to fold the sweatshirt in half. Take your fabric marker and from the center point, make a small marking with your fabric marker here. And then if my width was 40 centimeters, I'm going to measure out 20 centimeters so that it will be equally centered. And then from the 20 centimeters point, actually I'm going to add 1 more centimeter, because when we cut it out, we're going to have some kind of this fur pattern here. Notice here, it's not completely straight. It's a little bit jagged to kind of represent what the fur is. So we're going to put a little bit of jagged areas in there to kind of represent the fur. So I'm going to add 1 centimeter to that. So on both sides, to mark out halfway point. So like I said, mine was 40. So I'm going to mark 20 plus 1 centimeter. And on the other side again, I'm going to measure out 20 plus 1 centimeter to 21. Now that we have that marked, we can go to our felt. Now for the felt, of course, lay it flat and mark out your height, which was, we had 45 centimeters. So we're going to add 2 centimeters to that. So we're going to mark at the 47 mark. And on the width, we had 40. So we're adding 2 centimeters. So we're going to mark at the 42 mark. Now, of course, it's better if you have a long ruler so that you can now draw a line to mark your perfect squared off area. So now that we have the squared off area for the Totoro, it's going to be round. Now, before we make it round, let's cut out our square part. And we want it to be rounded. So if we were to fold it, we can either do one way, where we just round off here and here, or we can try to do a full circle and make it super simple. But he's not necessarily a whole circle, more oval shaped in the stomach. So we're going to want to cut a little bit where it's not so circular. So you can make it circular by using the shoelace and anchoring it at this point and tying it to the marker and curving around. Or what we can do is just kind of freehand it. So again, this is the height. So we want this to be a little more longer. So let's just sketch out by hand this circular shape here. Let's cut it out. We're not going to add the fur lines yet because this is now 4 layers of felt. Now if you were to try to do these fur lines, the felt might be too thick while you're trying to cut it and it won't come out in the type of shape you want it. Now that we have our rounded belly portion here, we can go in and just fold it in half, since we're only gonna, we don't have to add too many, but we can go in and draw in kind of little peaks, little points. Now you can do it symmetrically, but if you want it to be a little more organic, make sure that you cut each one individually. You don't want them too large, you don't want them too deep. because when we sew this, we're not sewing exactly every piece down. We're going to be sewing kind of this circular area here, so this will be not connected to the actual fabric. So if they're too long, you don't want them flopping down. Okay, now that you have cut out the little parts from this pattern here to make this kind of fur look, now we're going to want to put these kind of like half moon shapes onto this belly pattern. So first you're going to want to take your piece and by the long side here, so fold it in half so that you have the middle point, and put a marking so that you can know where the center is. Now this is like your back side of it, so it doesn't matter if you have your fabric marker on here. Of course, if you have the fabric marker, you put some water and it goes away, but you know, you don't have to, since it's going to be on the back side and you're just going to sew it onto the sweatshirt, and it's going to be covered by the gray felt anyways, so don't worry about it showing through. So if you look here, again, we have to have 5 on the bottom and 4 at the top. So try to sketch out an area of where it's best to be, and you might want to start off with just kind of a dash to kind of figure how big it is. So that's the first. You need 2 more on this side and 2 more on this side. Okay, so estimate this is going to be your size pattern here. Okay. So I'm just going to freehand write this onto my felt, my gray felt. So as you see on the fabric here, I rotated them 180 degrees so that I can fit more onto one side. So they don't have to be exactly the same, just about the same size, because again, this is fur. This is a pattern on fur, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna fold it in half so that we don't have to do double the work, and cut out the 10 pieces. So now that we've cut out all of the pieces, let's flip it over so that it's the clean side. It's not the one that you've marked with the fabric marker. And let's look at the image here. Now, the Totoro image here shows it's almost at a curved angle going around his round belly. So we're not going to put these straight, we're going to put these at a slight curve on both sets of these markings. Now, this is where you can opt to hand sew them in or machine sew them in. But what I'm going to try to do today is just hot glue them in. I'm going to go ahead and try to start putting on these other pieces. It says glue everywhere. There should be 3 main points that you hit here. The corners, of course, are the most important parts of keeping this down. Now that you've hot glued all of the pieces to the furry belly, we're going to now sew this onto the top of the sweatshirt. So take out your sweatshirt and find the points that you have already marked where the belly part should fall within. So I have my marks here, the top mark is here, and it will fall around this area. So now you're going to want to get your pins and put it into place. Of course, you're only going to want to pin the top layer. So now that you've placed your several pins, it should look something like this. Make sure that it lies as flat as possible, so when you're sewing it, it will be flush. So now we'll take the sweatshirt to the sewing machine, and remember you're only sewing one side. So make sure that you have it starting from the big open area from the bottom in order to start sewing around. So I'm going to go around close to the edge of the rounded area. So of course when you get towards the top area, it'll be a little more difficult, so also go slow so you're not going to double stitch into the back side of the sweatshirt. So this is the main part. So now you have your nice belly and fur pattern. So next, after this, we're going to work on the ears.